Another 2019 catch-up, Good Boys, is the directorial debut of Gene Sputnitsky. Yeah, that sounds about right. And stars Jacob Tremblay, Keith Williams, and Bradley Moon as these three sixth graders who find themselves involved in a series of misadventures as they try to attend a party that's run by the more popular classmates in their school. And probably the best way that I can describe this movie is just a slightly more live-action, only slightly more realistic South Park. This was definitely one that I was looking forward to when the movie was coming out. The first trailer I thought was great, but that first Red Band trailer really got me, and with that trailer, I oddly have a specific memory with that Red Band trailer now. I remember that, with this memory, I had already seen it a few times prior to this point. My wife and I were playing Borderlands 2. We were in the middle of the Captain Scarlet DLC. I was driving one of the skiffs, and Mallory was in the turret just riding along, and we were just talking about the movie, or at least I was. She had no idea what it was, and I paused the game, and I just said, fuck it. I pulled up my phone, I put in the Red Band trailer into my phone, I gave it to her, I unpaused, I started driving some more, and while I was driving through the desert, Mallory's just cackling next to me, especially on the part about, "You had us bring drugs to a playground?" That part especially got her good. So yeah, this was just another movie that I didn't make a review on immediately, so now that I'm finally here doing it, I can just stop rambling and get into the familiar. So, before I actually get into my thoughts on the film, I want to remind you guys to hit that like button, and also to hit that subscribe button, especially that last one if you're not already a subscriber. And the short disclaimer for those of you who are new, I use a pro and con list with all of my reviews, or at least the vast majority of them I do. And I usually don't keep the sections separate, but at the same time I do. I don't know, we'll end up seeing how I do it as we progress through this overall product together. Now, let's get into my review of Good Boys. This is a film definitely made for people with a more juvenile sense of humor, or at least those who have an appreciation for such humor, like me. My wife is always pointing out the fact that I am a juvenile, and this film definitely shows that. Especially because the first time I watched it, I was cackling all throughout. Either way, the comedy is the best part, which is that it's the kind of only really thing you want in a comedy. Like, or the only thing that you really need in a comedy to actually be good. You can have, like, the worst f***ing script, worst f***ing characters, but honestly, if it's funny, you've pretty much won. It doesn't even matter. Though, I will say, it does get jarring with some of the jokes, especially those surrounding sex toys. And while I did laugh during all scenes, I also can't ignore the fact that it became a little bit too consistent, and at the same time, even when I was laughing, I was getting annoyed. All three boys do a great job, but of course, there are the favorites that everybody will have, and I think depending on who you are, it'll either be Keith or Bradley. Or, no, Brady, sorry. Brady Moon, that's what I meant. Keith's character, Lucas, is probably the most formed character, whose main shtick is that his mom is his best friend, and he's not ashamed of it. He doesn't give a fuck about what you say, he's actually proud of it. And Brady's character, Thor, who's, yes, his name's Thor, it's weird, who's known more for his singing ability as well as his sense of style, which is actually really nice. Honestly, my favorite bounces back and forth between the both of them, so I don't have a definitive answer, although I think I may have slightly enjoyed Thor a little more because of his bluntness. While the script primarily focused on just being able to give the audience members a good time at the theater, it's not without its flaws. Around the time that, or I saw this film, I think a little while before I had seen Booksmart, and I did a review on Booksmart, and I also compared that film to Superbad, but I also mentioned that Booksmart has some really good, some really great heartfelt moments as well, that it wasn't just laughs. Well, the sad difference between Good Boys and Booksmart is that Good Boys, when it attempts to bring in the heartfelt moments, it slows to a brisk walk rather than a run. And honestly, the change in tone is kind of jarring each and every time, and just how the musical score in that little bit kind of tries to emotionally manipulate you, it doesn't work. It seems too disingenuous. And those are my brief thoughts on Good Boys. It's not much, but again, it's a comedy. There doesn't have to be as much with that kind of stuff. This film was never going to be like a future Oscar or Golden Globe nominee, though it wouldn't have mattered with the latter because the Golden Globes don't really matter. The Golden Globes are a joke. But anyway, it's still a comedy that does its job, and I definitely recommend it to people who love comedies, especially those with Seth Rogen involved in some way, like one way or another. Though if you're put off by the very basic, gross jokes being thrown at you one after the other, maybe just skip this. But anyway, it's up to you guys. Anyway, this is where my review ends. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Once again, don't forget to hit that like button, and also hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And as always, farewell until the next video, all of you casual moviegoers and movie fans alike, and keep on being awesome.